Morning. I've just got back from my walk. I'm a little bit sweaty. Highs are 14 today, but it's very sunny. And when you're marching along, because I do march, I can't walk slowly. Yeah, I get a bit of sweat on. I've just blown my nose, so my nose is all red as well. I look great. Another week on. I am. Fred, what are you doing? It's just circling me round and round. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. He gets fixated. He gets fixated by going round in circles around a person to like greet you, but he doesn't stop. He would still be going tomorrow if I didn't just tell him to stop. And the other thing that he does is he not fixates, but when he's drinking, he doesn't stop. So you have to listen out, and as soon as you hear him drinking, you give him like 5 or 10 seconds, and then you have to tell him to stop. Otherwise, what he does is he drinks and drinks and drinks and drinks until he's sick. Every single time. He's a lunatic. I don't know, some problem, but anyway. I get a week on into my new regime of eating healthier and walking every day. So I have increased my steps from, on average, between 2,000 and 3,000 a day. Not very many steps a day. To 10,000 a day. So a minimum of a 7,000 step increase per day. Not gonna lie, I'm absolutely exhausted. Absolutely exhausted, but I feel better for it. Better but exhausted. And I am noticing that when I first started, it would feel like the longest walk ever, like, oh my God, when am I ever gonna get home? Whereas I've just walked that and it's still taking me the exact same amount of time, maybe a little bit quicker, but suddenly I'm home, I'm like, oh, and I'm home. So my perception of time and distance is changing now that I am used to it. So for what seemed like the longest walk known to man is now just a quick walk home, and now I can get about my day. It obviously still impacts the time I have available in the day, because I have to knock off half an hour in the morning for walking, and then half an hour-ish or 20 minutes in the afternoon to get back to school. And that, you know, an hour, let's say, counts for a lot when you've only got 6 hours. So I'm down to 5 hours, I think, isn't it? Yeah, 9 till 3, yeah. So I'm down to 5 hours, which is still a long old time, but in that time I've got to fit various things in. But it's working. I feel better. I feel like I can climb the stairs and not get puffed out, and that's only after a week and a bit. So, you know, in another week's time, and another week's time, and in a few months' time, and a year's time, I'm going to be fit and healthy, and that's what I want. That is what I want for myself, as well as being able to look in the mirror and go, you know, I was saying to a friend yesterday, I'll probably forever have a part of me that will look at myself in the mirror and not like what I see, because I know that when I was 18 and I was a size 10, you know, youthful, pretty toned, because I used to swim back then regularly, I still didn't like what I saw. You always look for the, oh, but a bit of flab, and oh, a bit of this, and a bit of a roll, or, you know, you just can't help it. You know, it's the way that our brains have been programmed to look for the negatives. So if back then I didn't like what I saw, you know, I can't imagine I'm ever going to like what I see in the mirror. That's okay, as long as I can stand there and go, I don't really like what I see, but I know I'm fit and healthy. Whereas at the moment, I look in the mirror, no, I'm not even fit and healthy. So I've got nothing doing. So yeah, in a year's time, I want to be able to stand and look in the mirror and go, I mean, hopefully I'll go, oh, I look beautiful. But even if I don't, that's fine, as long as I know I eat well and I move well, and I couldn't say that a week and a half ago. I can say that now, and you know, hopefully I will feel it. So yeah, that's that update. And today is Wednesday and I'm going to be making a chicken stew. The children are absolutely hating the idea. Tough luck. Vegetables, good for you, bit of chicken, you know, it's good for you. So that's what I'm going to make today. I've also got a bit of bread here, where is it? Ooh, that I'm going to put in the oven now, actually. I'm going to, what temperature? High temperature. Put that in now. Can I do it one-handed? I don't know. There. So that's gone in. Hey Google, set a timer for 40 minutes.
All right.
There you go, that'll give it 10 minutes to warm up and then it half an hour. And then I will, oh, I need to put the lid on, oh God. Hang on. Half an hour with the lid on. Then I just need to do a bit of washing up, and what else do I need to do today? What I've started doing is I bought myself a nice notepad, or notebook rather, and every day I have a list of things. Some of them move over from the day before because realistically I'm never going to achieve everything, but that's okay. So then I have a list of things I need to do. So bake bread, I need to put my clothes away, and I need to mop. I need to mop the kitchen floor, dinner prep. So once the cake is, not the cake, what is it? Bread. Once the bread is done, I'm going to reuse that pan to make the stew. And then I've got some work to do as well. Other than that, it will be the normal, you know, got to put a load of washing on, do the dishes, and we'll see how the day goes, won't we, Fred? He is a funny dog. Are you a funny dog, Fred? Yeah. I don't know what to do first. All right, bread, I've got half an hour, say. I've got some washing in the machine. I'm going to get that out, hang it out, and then put another load on. Finish unloading the dishwasher because I started that this morning. And then I've got some dishes to do by hand. And then we'll see where we get to. Right, let's go. I also need to just quickly go down to the polytunnel because I put my sweet peas out there the other day and I'll be dry as a bone. I'll open up the door, give them a water and anything else that needs watering as well, and let's have a look. There are my sweet peas. I've pinched them out so they're looking a bit sad, but also they'd gone a bit leggy. My Fatsia japonica and my little orange tree survived the winter and they're looking very happy indeed. So eventually I want to get this planted out, but I need to find somewhere for it first of all. Then we've got some manure. There was a stables giving away manure, so we've put that all in there and all around the garden. So hopefully that will mean nice big crops. But everything's coming back to life. Like, got my apple tree, got little buds on it there, and look, first signs of growth on the old willow fedge, which is amazing because I just really was worried that it was going to be dead. And then got another apple tree that really was poorly last year. It got apple spot or something, so I had to trim it right back, but that's doing all right again. Everything's coming back to life, look, more little signs of life. Yeah, so I think you can see the buds there. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's coming back to life. Leave that soak a bit, but I think, what time is it? I haven't got long left. 15 minutes. I might mop the floor. While I've been waiting for the floor to dry, because it takes half an hour or so just for the fresh air and that to go around the house, I've been looking through something that I ordered to help Lily with her spelling. If you have children in the UK, or actually, I don't know about around the world. You'll have to let me know if there's a different way that children are taught spelling. But in the UK, from nursery reception time, they will start learning phonics. And phonics is to do with hearing. It's how you hear a word. So for example, cat, you hear it as it is written, cat. And I loved teaching phonics as a teacher. It was my favourite thing. I love language. But as children progress through the curriculum, they meet tricky words. Tricky words are those words that, as we all know, the English language has got some right proper crazy spellings. And so these are taught as tricky words that you cannot do phonics with. You just have to learn them, and it's just tough luck. You just have to learn them. Lots of children, most children, are fine with that. So Grace was fine with it, William's fine with it. Lily, however, has got a very, I don't know how you describe her brain, but I guess logical, I suppose, and so she relies heavily on phonics. So if you ask her to spell any word, she will use her phonic knowledge, and you know, she's not writing gobbledygook. You know what she's written, but many of the harder spellings as they get older and you know, they're spelling more complex words, she's not spelling correctly. And you know, I have not known how to help her until, coincidentally, being a governor, I've mentioned before I'm a governor at the children's school, their school is investing in a new programme that aims to tackle this issue. And I thought I would just share it with you because even as a parent, you are able to buy the book. So the lady that's written it is called Louise Selby, and it's called Morph Mastery. It's not cheap because essentially you're buying the pack that a school would buy. Now a school will buy a license for the whole school. You don't need to do that. So I think this was like £30, which is not cheap, I appreciate, but I love spelling. I'm a stickler for being able to spell, and I know it's not the end of the world, and you know, she's going off to secondary school where they use Chromebooks a lot, so she'll have spell check, but that's beside the point. People should be able to spell, and if I can help her to not spell like she's in year 2 or year 1, then I'm going to do that. So I bought the book. So I was in a governor meeting and they were saying, oh, we're buying into this. Well, she's year 6. She's never going to see this new scheme. William might see it. He doesn't need it himself. He's fine with spelling. He remembers those harder words. But she will never get the benefit of them buying into this scheme. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to teach her. I've got the skills for teaching. I understand what this isn't, you know, it's not an easy read. Like, you know, if you were in a school, you'd go on the training. I've been reading through this, but it makes so much sense. So that's what I've been doing. I've been looking at what I need to do is assess her first of all, and work out where her gaps are. And essentially, so Morph Mastery is all about morphemes. This is turning into a bit of an educational thing, but you know, it's interesting. I'm going to share it anyway. So phonemes are the bits of the sound that, the bits of the word that you can hear the different segments, if you like. So the word experiment, you could hear meant, you know, if you're phonetically spelling it, and you'd be able to spell that correctly or hazard a good old guess, because, you know, experiment, you might do a Y instead of an I, but on the whole, it's a phonetical word. So you break a word up into the phonemes of what you can hear for either reading it or writing it. Morphemes, I have now learnt, are the parts of a word that mean something. So you get the root word. So let's take the word, oh my goodness, I can't even think. Let me, okay, here's a good one. Boredom. So if you were spelling it phonetically, which you can't because it's not a phonetic word, it's a tricky word. Boredom, but you'd sound it out, boredom. And then a child might spell it B-O-R, so b-or, and then dum. They might do D-U-M, dumb, boredom, and they'd be wrong. So phonetics doesn't help you. 2 syllables, boredom, no. So morphemes break it down into bore. What does bore mean? That the root word is bore, and then you have boring, boredom. I can't think of any other thing, but to bore somebody is to, you know, I mean, it's boring, isn't it? They're bored, boring, borist, no, bores, somebody she bores me. So there are, and then, so bore is the root word, and then has it got a prefix or a suffix? So boredom, the suffix is dum, and then you have to teach them, this is the interesting part in my opinion, that you get Latin words, Greek words, and Old English words. That is what makes up the English language. Latin, Greek, Old English. So boredom, I've no idea where bore comes from, but it is just, you know, to bore someone. She bores me, boredom, boring, bored. And dumb, the dumb part is a quality or state of. So boredom, you're in a state of bore. You're bored. Other examples of dumb would be kingdom. It's the state of the king or queen. Freedom, it's the state of being free or the quality of being free. Stardom, the quality of being a star. You're being in a state of being a star. And wisdom, coming from wise as the root word, and then the state of being wise, the quality of being wise. So morphemes are the root word and then the prefix and a suffix. And you know, they don't have to have both. They might only have a prefix, they might only have a suffix, but there's always going to be a root word there. And this that is what the whole program is about. It's about teaching the root words and then the possible prefixes and suffixes, as well as the rules around, you know, so happy as a root word. If you're going to add a suffix to the end, the Y will become an I. So you have to teach that part as well. So it's teaching the spelling rules, which do get taught in primary school, but they don't teach the root word meanings and the possibilities that go with it. You know, I've got 3 children. One's finished primary school, on secondary school, but 2 still in primary school, but they all have come home with spelling lists of these tricky words and they just have to learn them. But there's no process of teaching, well, what does it mean? You know, what do these words, what's the root word of that word? And therefore that's why it's spelt that way, because that's the root word and we know what that means. And look, it had a Y on the end, so you have to put an I, and that's why, you know. So I am hopeful that this is going to solve the problem, because spelling is taught just with phonics and tricky words, for those children who just can't remember the tricky words, they're buggered, because all they've got is their phonic knowledge. So anyway, if your child also struggles, I do recommend, well, I say I recommend, I haven't, don't quote me on it yet, but I'm looking hopeful, or I'm feeling hopeful about this. I will let you know how we get on. It's a 6-week program and they do 3 lessons a week. I don't know how long the lessons are, but I'm just gonna do, you know, 3 evenings a week for the next 6 weeks, and I'm just gonna, you know, and obviously I'm not having to start right back at the beginning. She's not year 1, she's not, you know, she's got a lot of good spellings, but it's those hard words that she just can't, she doesn't know the spelling rules, she doesn't associate these tricky words with what's the root word and what's the suffix or prefix that we're adding on here, and the spelling rule to go with it. So I will update you and let you know, and if I don't, please comment and go, by the way, it's been 11 weeks and you've not updated us, so please prompt me, because, you know, my brain. So, but today I'm going to assess her, and it comes with all the assessment, like how you can work out what the gaps are and things, and I'm going to go right back to year 1 and then just assess all the words and see how she gets on. But that's what I've been doing. Now I need to put the table all back, all the chairs back, because the floor is dry, and then, oh, it's lunchtime, but I'm not actually that hungry, so I'm going to get on with doing the chicken stew. William's robot he's making out of the box. The whole place. You right, Fred? Yeah. What I've realised is I used up most of the potatoes for dinner last night. So normally I would make sure I've got plenty of potatoes, but what I've only got is that, which is quite measly. But it is what it is. So I browned the chicken and then I've just added everything into a big pot. Oh god. I've just put some water with stock. Did I add the stock? I haven't added the stock. I haven't added the stock cube. I forgot to add the stock cube. There we go. I'm just going to have to crumble it in after the fact, but that'll do. Do that. Leave that for half an hour. What to do now is the washing up that I left to soak earlier. I've got about half an hour until I need to go. That's boiling away nicely. Potatoes just aren't seeming to cook at all. So I'm just going to leave that boiling for a bit and then I'm going to go and do some emails now. But I feel like I've been really productive today. What have I done? I've mopped the floor. I've made dinner. The biggest thing was I needed to read through that book. So I've done that. And I've printed out all of the stuff that I'm going to need to assess her. And did some washing, done the dishes. I feel like there must have been something else. Do you know what I mean about the day just going? And I feel like I've filmed everything besides not filming me looking through that book. And and I've edited out each, so you're not watching me chop a million vegetables. But I film everything, and then when I say it out loud, and I just think, well, all I've done is mop the floor, done some dishes, the washing machine washed the clothes, and I've chopped some vegetables and watched it boil. Doesn't really sound like a lot, does it? But here we are. I started at about maybe 9:30, and it is now, well, it's 2:15 now. So what's that, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30. Say it's going to be 5 hours by 2:30. I don't know what I've done. I feel like, the thing is, there's 2 points to this. One, probably I need to be a bit more like bam, 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 bam to get more done. That's what part of my brain's saying. Then the other side of my brain's going, no, actually, slow living. You've mopped the floor, so you've kept the floor is nice and clean. You've prepared dinner. You've got the children, and we'll all have clean clothes. I'm helping Lily's education. Haven't done as much work as I would have liked, and to be honest, 15 minutes, I'm going to check about 3 emails and that'll be done. So I've not earned any money today. But in terms of managing the house, I have, I've got to get out of this mindset of I have to have achieved 100 things in one day. I have ticked things off my list. Like I started off with, today's list was bake the bread. Oh, I made the bread. Well, I'll show you what it looks like. I actually don't know what it looks like on the inside, but it went a bit black on top. I forgot to turn the temperature down when I took the lid off. Well, I did, but maybe not as much as I should. So I don't know, but it feels all right. So there's the bread. So I made the bread. That was the first thing on my list. Then I haven't put my clothes away. That is what I haven't done. Mop the floor, done. Dinner prep, done. Write up a governor visit, haven't done that. That can roll over till tomorrow. Read morphology book, done that. That, took a good half an hour or so. And then the other thing I've got on there is Grace has got to choose her year 9 options. Can't do that yet because she's not here. I need to assess Lily and put my clothes away later on, hopefully, before I fall asleep. But actually, that was everything on my list done. So, and I did the dishwasher and the washing. So, you know, it's not as bad as it seems, but I feel like I'm so ingrained in the must be productive, must get a million things done. But actually, no, had a productive day. Lots of, like, mopping the floor took time. So I will see you again next week. Got one more week and then it's then it's the Easter holidays. And I will probably do maybe one during the Easter holidays, but otherwise I'll take a break in the holidays. But I'll be back next week anyway, so see you then. Bye.